Hello, we are beginning a book here called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is written by Robert Louis Stevenson, an exciting author, and he has written several different successful bestseller books, and this is one of them. This book has several different characters, male characters. Has Mr. Enfield, Dr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Dr. Lannon, Mr. Utterson, and Poole, as well as some other people that get involved. The main characters more than anything are Mr. Utterson, who is Dr. Jekyll's friend, and Dr. Jekyll, of course, and Mr. Hyde. But let's start with reading chapter 1. Chapter 1 is entitled The Door. The Door. Okay, so let's read chapter 1. Mr. Utterson was a quiet and serious lawyer. Every Sunday afternoon, he and his friend Mr. Enfield walked together through the streets of London. One day in a small street, they passed an old building next to a dark courtyard. The building had a dirty old door. Mr. Enfield stopped. "Do you see that door?" he asked Mr. Utterson. "I can tell you a very strange story about it." "Oh, I'm always interested in strange stories," said Mr. Utterson, looking at the door. "Please tell me." "Well, late one night, I was returning home, and I saw something very frightening," said Mr. Enfield. "I saw a little girl running down a small street, and a man walking quickly on the main street. Unfortunately, the two of them collided at the corner, and the girl fell to the ground. Then came the terrible part. The man jumped repeatedly on the girl's body while she lay screaming on the ground." "He jumped on the girl's body?" Mr. Utterson interrupted. "Yes, it was shocking. Well, I ran after the man and caught him and took him back to the girl," Mr. Enfield continued. "He was well dressed, but there was something horrible about him, and I disliked him immediately. The girl's family and neighbors heard her screams and came quickly. Soon there was a group of people round the girl. Someone brought a doctor, and he examined the girl. Fortunately, there were no broken bones, but the girl was very frightened. All this time, the man just stood there and watched. He didn't apologize to the girl or her parents." "I can't believe it!" Mr. Utterson exclaimed. "Yes, oh yes, it's true," said Mr. Enfield. "Everybody was very angry, and we all agreed to punish the man. Finally, someone said to him, 'You seem to be from a good family. You don't want a scandal, do you? So pay the girl's family £100 and we'll let you go.' The man looked at all the angry faces around him. He was frightened and agreed to pay the money. The girl's father, the doctor, and I went with him to get the money. He brought us to this old door, took out a key, opened the door, went inside. A few minutes later, he came out with £10 and a check for the other £90. But there was another person's signature on the check. I know that because we asked the man's name." "Maybe he forged the check," said Mr. Utterson. "That's what I thought," said Mr. Enfield. "So I made a suggestion that we all go to the bank together in the morning. I invited everybody, including the strange man, to my home, and we passed the rest of the night there. In the morning, we had breakfast, and when the bank opened, we went to the bank." "Did the bank accept the check?" asked Mr. Utterson. "Yes, they did," said Mr. Enfield. "They gave us the money, and so we let the man go home." "But how did the man have a check with another man's signature?" asked Mr. Utterson. "I don't know, but I suspect it was blackmail," said Mr. Enfield. "The name on the check was the name of a well-known person. Maybe this person once did something bad and agreed to pay money to keep it secret." The two men walked in silence for a few minutes. Then Mr. Utterson said, "The strange man with the check, does he live in the building with the old door?" No, he doesn't. He lives in another street. He told me his address, answered Mr. Enfield. The man comes to this building sometimes, but not very often. I came several times to the building to examine it. There isn't another door, and nobody goes in or out of that one. There are 3 windows on the first floor of the building. The windows are always shut, but they're clean, and smoke generally comes out the chimney. So someone probably lives there. What's the name of the strange man? Asked Mr. Utterson. His name is Hyde, answered Mr. Enfield. Tell me about this Mr. Hyde, Mr. Utterson said. He looked worried. He's not easy to describe, answered Mr. Enfield. He's short, he's got dark hair, and when you look at him, you feel something strange, something evil about him. He's got an impression of deformity. He's detestable, but I can't explain why. Very good. Well, this is chapter 1 of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Several vocabulary words to review here in chapter 1. First is lawyer. A lawyer is someone who knows the law and can defend a person in court. Okay? Or he can help explain the law to someone. Not all lawyers work in court. Many lawyers just work as counsel, or they give advice, legal advice. A courtyard. What's a courtyard? Well, a courtyard is usually an open area. There may be a courtyard in the street, possibly, or usually the courtyard is a part of a house. Maybe, I know in Spain, usually the courtyard is behind the house. You have the house where you sleep and eat. And then you have a courtyard, a little area where you're outside, but within the house. You're not in the street. Collide. Collide is when 2 objects, boom, connect. Okay? Collide. Lay screaming. Lay is to be on the ground or on the floor, not standing up or not sitting down, just flat. And screaming is shouting or making loud noises with your voice. Okay? That is screaming. Didn't apologize. Didn't apologize is not say sorry. He didn't apologize. He didn't say sorry. When you do something bad, when you hurt someone, you should say sorry, I think. Seem. You seem to be from a good family. Seem is what people think about something or what they feel about something. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. It seems that way. So she seems nice. I think she's nice. Maybe she isn't. I don't know. She seems. You seem to be from a good family. Why would he seem to be from a good family? Maybe he wears nice clothes. Maybe he talks properly. He seems from a good family, but maybe he's not. Signature. That's when you sign your name. My name is Benjamin, so I sign Benjamin. You're my signature. Forge a check. Forge a check. Forge a check is to fake a signature. So maybe I want to sign Donald Trump, but I'm not Donald Trump. I forge the signature. I falsely sign someone else's name, a name that's not mine. Okay? Blackmail. Blackmail is to make someone else do something they don't want to do, because if they don't do it, I'll do something bad to them. No? So maybe they need to give me money, or I will tell their neighbor that they're a bad person. Something like that. That's blackmail. Or maybe they need to give me money, or I will tell their mother something that they did last week. Blackmail. Not very nice. Not a very nice thing to do. Evil. What is evil? Evil is something that is not good. It's just evil. It's just dirty, wrong, horrible. That's evil. So the opposite of good. You have good and you have evil. Evil is the opposite of good. Okay? Well, thank you for joining me for chapter 1, and we'll see you for chapter 2. Goodbye.